Hey everybody, it's Tim Sackett, and I'm back with the next episode of SmashUps, the recruitment marketing video podcast, brought to you by the great folks at Fistful of Talent and our great sponsor, SmashUps. And if you don't know, their actual conference is taking place this week in Boston, Transform, the first ever recruitment marketing conference on the planet, or that's what I'm told. So I'm not going to question them since they're paying for this thing. So, but I'm really excited and happy today for SmashUps to bring on Celinda Appleby, who is the former head of global branding for Oracle, because she just left, and she's actually in a hotel in Portland, Oregon, because what's the biggest company in Portland?
Nike!
Yeah, that's so exciting.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. A little nervous and scared because I just moved us cross country, but I'm, loving it. I'm excited. I start next week. And I will be running their global digital social media for talent acquisition. So super exciting new job for them too.
That's so awesome. And we had talked before we started this, and I'm a huge Nike fan. I have way too much Nike stuff and continue to buy too much Nike stuff. So that's a cool thing.
Good. So we'll send you some shirts for the next SmashUp.
Right, and we'll just be all Nike'd out.
Yes.
I have to tell you. This is going to be the last question. Was the first? I got Prestos, brand new, out of the box.
Love
That was hard to actually stretch like that. I have to get yoga or something going. So, brought you on because you're probably within the industry, probably one of the bigger, better voices in terms of employment branding, recruitment marketing, all of that. So, and we have a ton of talent acquisition leaders, mid-level managers that. They're just struggling with this, right? It's a huge job, especially when you don't have a ton of resources. So what advice do you have, right, in terms of how do you get recruitment marketing just off the ground? How do you get it started?
Yeah, so I'll tell you that regardless of whether you work for an HP or an Oracle or any of the brands that I've ever worked for, you have to look at your space, right? And so people tend to start recruitment marketing because everyone else is doing it, right? It's become that shiny penny thing, right?
Yeah.
However, you need to do it because you need to attract talent. So a good thing could be, if you're a tech company, you want the software developers that the HP and the Oracles have. How are you going to pull them from a big company and bring them to your space? And that typically comes from employee stories. I'm a big fan of storytelling and using the genuine voices. A couple years ago, I would say it was all about the product and the tech, and your tech is better than my tech. But the reality is the foundation of tech is starting to mirror each other so much that it has to be the people behind the tech or the people behind the product that are going to keep, I also feel that even though retention isn't part of recruitment marketing at all, it does help quite a bit with retention because the people you feature feel so excited. And so first things first, I always say, take a look at what you need to accomplish with this, right? If you're struggling to fill marketing roles or sales roles or, what is it that what's your recruitment issue and how can you find a marketing solution for that issue?
Yeah.
I made the mistake at HP and my goal for year one was we're going to use this to hire everyone. And that failed because I didn't hire everyone. I think we made 10 Facebook hires for out of 45,000 hires. It was really, really bad. So start small, make that a little case study or a pilot, like what I learned from Lars Schmidt, and then grow it because then you won't fail. You'll feel really excited and you'll learn from your mistakes as there will be plenty.
Yeah, I love that concept. Chris Dunn had wrote a post recently about, actually it was Smashfly had come up with all these ideas, right? And his idea was that you should take 10% of your TA budget, which is a lot, but you should always be testing, right? Always be doing pilots. And finding out what's going to work, what's not going to work. And I love, whether you call it a test or a pilot, is that if it doesn't work, if it bombs, that's because we were just testing. We were trying this out, right? And you don't feel like a complete idiot. What we tend to do, whether it's branding, recruitment marketing, anything, is we design one big, giant, hairy program and then just sort of launch it to the whole company.
Yep.
And it fails.
And then it dies. Yeah. And I'll tell you one thing I learned from HP is that, and you would think we had a huge budget there and we didn't. And so for the people that are listening that don't have huge budgets, and don't have a team, right, or a dedicated resource, is tap on those people that are your top performers or slightly bored, right, and want to do more. And that's honestly how I got the job at HP. I was just a sourcer with an interest. And so they would let us pilot, project manage, give you the tools.
Yeah.
And so tap on the people in your TA team that would like to do more, or HR. Because I bet you have a lot of people dying on the vine that could take on these extra recruitment marketing tasks.
Well, no, and those people are just going to take off anyways, right? They're bored.
Right.
They're going to leave.
Yeah.
You might as well get some work out of them before they take off. So
yeah, and I'm telling you, HP did that really well. So I would say steal that idea also.
Yeah, I love that. I'm going to get back to the story thing real quick. How do you? What advice do you have? Because I think the one thing we want to do is we want our people to tell their stories, and we want it to be transparent. But we also want to kind of craft it a little. Like, how do you get away from that?
Yeah. So one of the best tips that I can give you that worked really well for me is when you enter a hiring project. So a hiring manager says to you, we need to hire 500, 200, 10, even 2, right? And then you sit down, you do your normal recruiting intake conversation. Get some, you always, I don't remember, I want to date myself, but I used to be in staffing. We always asked what was the sizzle, right? So what's the sizzle? And so I still use that today, and hiring managers really relate to it. Why would anyone want to work with you?
Yeah.
And typically I'll say hiring managers don't have the time to be a part of my campaigns. So I ask them to nominate the person that they would most want to mirror the hire. And we go collect those stories from them. And for the most part, we don't really want to know so much. I want the human aspect. What do you do outside of work, and how does the company help you do that? Because those are the most genuine questions. Everybody says they love their job. That's great. They're going to say that. But why do you love your job? What is it about this job that you're getting that you wouldn't get anywhere else?
Yeah. Half off shoes, right?
Yeah. Big one.
So I'm already going off script because it's leading me to more questions. How far do you think we're away from having video job descriptions where a person doing the actual job is just telling you this is the job versus what we do now, right?
I mean, that's my dream. Like, I would love to do that, but what's happening in market is the idea has been thrown around quite a bit, but they're doing day in the life, and day in the life gets super scripty and kitschy. I want like a really super technical video. My kids are obsessed with YouTube. I don't know about yours, but they'll watch a kid unwrap a toy for 27 minutes, right? Like, and I'm like, what are you doing? So if we could do it as technical as that, like a step-by-step guide. I was at a HR tech, the one that Recruiting Daily puts on, and Skill Scout was there, and they're doing it really well. So for small companies, and I'm not affiliated in any manner, but they're doing video job descriptions in the manufacturing space, and it looks phenomenal. Because it shows you, it's a really good tool. I was blown away. It shows you the work, and it's really, I think to me that I don't know a thing about manufacturing was really eye-opening.
Well, and I think you can use it for anything, right? Like I just met with a tech company and was like, look, you can put on senior architect, developer, blah, blah, blah. Everyone knows, right? It's just boring. But so few people are sitting out there saying, hey, here's our current senior architect doing that job right now. Why do you like working here? What is it about the job? Like, everybody knows what the job is, but tell them why.
Why? And the thing is, if you look back over the course of the past few years, the why became a foosball, ping pong tables. Remember, like, we've diluted it so much that we're losing out on the whole recruitment side. What are they going to get out of it? Yeah,
no, that's brilliant. Hey, real quick level set. You're listening to SmashUps, brought to you by Fistful of Talent and the great folks at SmashFly.com. And with me is the new social media branding guru. What's the title at Nike? Celinda Appleby.
Oh, it's such a long title. It's like Global Digital and Social Media Manager.
Which is a long title for doing some really cool stuff with Nike. So make sure you check her out. You can find her online on LinkedIn and everywhere else. So respond to this. It's not really a question, but here's my feeling. I get a little put off by employment branding folks. My thought process is this. Very few companies actually have an employment brand. You could have one at Nike, you can have one at Oracle. I think in big companies you can have one, or if you're really willing to get out of the box, you can have one. But to me, 90% of the companies just don't even have a brand, employment brand. I mean, well, and the argument is, well, they do, they just don't, they're not selling it, right? To me,
Right.
I've always been on the talent acquisition side saying, hey, if you're great at recruitment marketing, if you're really good, it doesn't matter. I'm still going to get all that same talent without even a
Right.
brand, right?
Right.
Respond.
So what I will say, I'm very similar to what you sent me. I was like, oh yeah, I can see what you're saying. However, I do think every company has an employer brand. Whether we're articulating it or not, that's a different story. But think of it like my opinion of employer brand is the core values, right? The company has their core values and how you articulate that to your employees and what you're getting back. It's a give or take document, I would say.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I am 100% aligned with you over the fluff that takes 2 years to put an employer brand together.
Yeah.
And then by the time, as recruiters, I'm speaking as a recruiter, not anyone else. By the time they give me that brand, I'm over it. I've already moved on. I've closed the rec,
Yeah.
and it doesn't apply, right?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff bugs me. But what we did at Oracle is we had an employer brand. We worked on the back end, but we didn't stop recruitment marketing because you can't. How am I going to tell the business, sorry, we're not going to recruit for this because we're waiting on our catchy little tagline right now? You know?
Yep.
So I'm with you 100%. I think that you do have to have a unified voice across the company. So I do believe that employer brand professionals help us with that, as do our marketing gurus. But you never stop recruiting. You can't stop recruiting, and you shouldn't wait for all the fancy paperwork to get going.
Totally agree. Yeah. So, last question. Well, next to last question, I guess. So, obviously, you work with these large brands, and so we all have this feeling like, well, you can do it because you have a large brand. But what do you tell that HR person that's working in a 500-person company in the middle of Michigan? How does she build a brand? Like, how do you build a brand with that?
So I actually am really jealous to people that have small company brands. And let me tell you why. You have the opportunity to actually get out and take the pictures yourself and talk to the employees and be a part of the events that are being hosted. But most importantly, you're there for
Somebody in
onboarding.
legal's not stopping you constantly.
Right. Not only that, but you're there for onboarding. And onboarding is the best time to make anyone a brand ambassador. And then they do the work for you. So when you onboard, you can say, hey, we have Instagram, a YouTube. We're looking for people. And I will guarantee you at the first 60 days, everyone raises their hand because it makes them look good.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that at an Oracle or HP. I mean, you just can't.
What I like, the tidbit that some folks might not pick up is onboarding is really where you share that employment brand experience for the first time with them, right? I mean, you hope as they're going through as a candidate, but that's almost a different experience than as an employee.
It's a different one. Yeah.
And so the onboarding thing is critical.
Yeah, I will say I've had some really good candidate experiences and the onboarding just fell apart, right? So it's critical to continue the process. And I would say use your onboarding time to find your stars that want to be a part of it. While you're onboarding, ask who's digitally savvy. You're going to find in this era you're hiring people all the time that are really good at it. So pick out people right then and there and get them jazzed. You know, you're going to have people that are excited to tell their story. Those are good people to get to start blogging for you.
Yeah.
What's it like from day 1 to day 100? You know, first 100 days like they do in elementary school.
Good stuff. So thanks for getting up early this morning and the West Coast. Last question, what's your all-time favorite pair of Nikes?
So I am a Jordan fanatic. And I was thinking about this morning. My very second pair of Jordans were the 1995 Retro 11s Concords, you know, the little patent leather.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say those are probably still my favorite. They're like really dirty, but because I still have them, but they're probably my favorite. But I lean towards any retro Jordans that I can get my hands on.
So I have a great patent leather Jordan story. I had them and then went off to college, right, and left them in my closet. Like, hey, I come home and they're sitting in the hallway, completely grass stained. My dad took them out of my closet and used them to mow the yard because he didn't think I wanted them. I just lost my mind. My favorite are the Air Max Sensations 1995. They're the original Chris Webber shoes.
I love those. Yes, those are
Love those.
nice.
I have two pair in my closet right now.
Oh my God. So you're like, okay, so I'm going to be tapping into you for some Nike love.
So yeah, I love those. So hey, everybody, make sure you check out Celinda. Where can they find you on the Twitters and the Instagrams and all that?
So it's Celly CELLY_APP. And I'm on LinkedIn as my real name.
Yep.
But yeah, add me. I'm hilarious. It's all
Yeah.
twin and shoe stuff, so you'll love it.
Yep.
Hip hop.
You'll have a contact at Nike. Also, thanks for the Fistful Talent for letting us do this. Really appreciate it, Celinda. Thanks for coming on.
This was awesome.
Make sure everybody check out SmashFly, smashfly.com, and we'll see you next time. See ya.